Hi everyone, this is Ronnie, and I just want to say today that it feels really good to know that you're taking care of yourself really well. That's what I wanted to say. Um, when you start making these changes in your diet and lifestyle, when you start doing things that you know are good for you, that you can keep doing for life, that will continue to improve you and make you feel better and feel good, when you commit to that, it feels really fantastic. And it's not the kind of healthy living is not the kind of high that you get from drugs and alcohol and cigarettes and the stimulation you might get from junk food and caffeine and all that kind of stuff. It's not that, but it is a much greater feeling, I think, a much bigger feeling, a longer lasting feeling. And I just think that that's the secret kind of to happiness in life, is not looking for these highs but looking for these small things that just increase your well-being. And by well-being, I think well-being is the important word here, because we can talk about the raw vegan diet or even a plant-based vegan diet and say it's good for helping to reduce your risk of getting disease and all that stuff. And we like the idea that that people will hear that and will make a change, and they don't, because that's not why people change diet and lifestyle. It's not as logical as that a lot of the time. Uh, you don't just say to people, well, look, it's because what people tend to do is they go into denial about it, they don't believe it, all that kind of stuff. They find excuses not to do it. So that's really not usually, people usually have to be in a bit more of a, I'm not sure, like they have to be further along, I suppose, towards a place where they're kind of like they're ready to make a change. They've hit rock bottom or whatever, or they really realize they have to make a change. But what we can tell people is, instead of thinking about, well, you can reduce your risk of heart disease, which is not going to happen to people for many years, even though it's always happening, it's always developing, but just the well-being, just the feeling of well-being in your life right now, when you start to eat better and start to live better. And I'm really one of the reasons that I came towards the raw vegan diet and healthier eating is that I was wanting to live a better life. I wanted to feel better. I wanted to see how much better can you feel, and how much better of a life can you have. That's what was kind of fascinating to me. And I'm not sure when I stopped buying into the idea of like trying to get something quick, trying to get this quick result. But it seems like a long time ago I gave up on that idea, and I started to do things that I knew didn't necessarily have an impact right overnight straight away, but over time made a big difference. So the diet over time makes a big difference. It also makes a very quick difference for many people. Things like meditation over time make a huge difference. Maybe not in the first time or the first week, but over time increase this feeling of well-being, this positive foundation on which your whole life is built. I think developing certain principles that you live by, probably that you're proud of, things, certain ethics, that's probably another thing. If you live by certain things, doing work that you're proud of, being creative, having positive friendships, all these different things. And one of the things that I've noticed as well is when you actually go out your way to do something good for someone else for no reason, like I had this thing for a while where I was trying to do a random act of kindness every day, and I fell out of that habit. But every time I did that, it makes you feel great for like an hour, 2 hours, just a small thing. Like, and I was trying to work out what could I do, what would be a random act of kindness, because you don't just want to give money to someone, or like that could be negative or positive. It doesn't it depends what the person's going to do with it or whatever. Um, but I was looking for other ways, and a lot of people wouldn't take money as well. You know, if you want to contribute money to something, they don't want to take it. So how else could you be kind? And I was thinking, okay, well, I can maybe clean an area or tidy up a place, you know, for people. Or the other thing I was doing was reviews. So if I went into a place and I got good service, I would take the time to write a nice review for the person and send it into their manager. You know, and little things like that, giving good reviews, giving time for feedback, you know, sharing thing without telling people, like sharing something that someone was doing with other friends of mine or something, just to help them out or whatever. Like just little things like that. I was trying to work out other things I could do, but it's kind of hard to be randomly kind to just people out there in the world, you know. So I was trying to, but well-being and lifestyle, and I think that just keeps on, you keep on improving that. But to me, it's not like a high or a thing, and I don't know if people are looking for that, but it's a deeper feeling of well-being. And I remember a couple of years ago going to the Woodstock Fruit Festival and turning up, and just this energy of well-being just increasing in me, you know. And that's why I go to these festivals, you know. That's why I go to these events. That's a high for me. That's not the high that everyone else has in their head or whatever, like taking drugs and getting high. It's this high of well-being that's very subtle, very, very subtle, and I don't think most people can feel it. It's well-being, and it feels amazing to take care of yourself. For me, going to these events is a way of taking care of myself. Spending time with certain friends and people is improving my life. People that I want to be around, is well-being. Being around that community is amazing to me. But not everyone feels that, and a lot of people, you know, they're not ready for that. They want to go to the ayahuasca ceremony, and they want to go to the Wim Hof breathing thing, because they all want something like quick and fast and some immediate effect. And that's not where it's at. That is not where it's at in terms of a really good life, I think. I think it comes from tapping into what makes you feel really good as a foundation every day, building that foundation, and building the positivity and the strength of that foundation, and finding things. For some people it's yoga, it's raw food, it's journaling, it's music, it's, I'll tell you what it's not. It's not Netflix and YouTube and all that stuff. I do that too much. That takes away from me, definitely. And I do it too much. It's like it's a bit of an addiction. What else? Yeah, well, any of those social media apps. I'm not too bad at a lot of them. YouTube I do watch quite a lot. And it's weird though, because YouTube, I feel like the YouTube algorithm doesn't work for me anymore. It doesn't really give me a lot of good videos anymore. So like I'm watching random stuff that I don't even want to watch just to have something on. So that's not good. But I'm aware of that and I'm working on it. And you know, anything creative I think is good for your well-being. Anything creative, anything challenging, anything conversation-wise. I really think that people, we live on our own. I live on my own right now. Maybe a lot of you live on your own, or you spend a lot of time on your own. And I think we spend more time on our own than ever before. And therefore we have these social media apps that are like addictive to us that we put on. Or if you're not into that, you're maybe watching television. If you're not doing that, you're listening to the radio, you're reading books, you're whatever. There's some constant stimulation, and I think that's because we're a social species, and we're meant to always be around people. We're meant to always be communicating in conversation, thinking up ideas, sharing our thoughts, our feelings, and everything else. And it's unfortunate that if we're not forced into doing that, we end up choosing not to do it. You know what I mean? It's like exercise. Sometimes if we're not forced into exercising, we just end up not exercising, even though it's good for us. And it's the same with all that. So I think that we've lost the art of community. I think people don't see how important it is. There's a lot of things about your health that people don't obviously feel, if that makes sense. Like, people slip into like mental illness and depression and stuff for things like that, for not being around people, for not being in community, for not talking to people, for not having any kind of support network, and they fall into drugs and all the rest of it, you know. And they're not aware. People don't have a great awareness. You know, when people talk to me about intuitiveness when it comes to their health, and intuitiveness when it comes to making decisions in their life, I'm going to intuit that. I'm going to tap into the spiritual universe, and I'm going to tap into that. I'm going to feel what's good for me. That's not what it's at. Definitely not. You do not have the ability to know exactly what's good for you. You have to, if you want to really get healthy and live a better life, you have to give up this idea that you know what's best for you. You have to give that up. You don't. You just don't. And all of the people I know that are successful in a raw vegan diet, they all know they're not in control of their diet. But everyone who's like still eating cooked food and junk food, they think they're in control. They think they could stop eating that any time. No, they can't. No, they can't. So once you accept that and you realize, well, that's not a good situation. Why not eat foods that aren't addictive like that? But well-being, that is to me the whole game, the whole thing. That's what I'm shooting towards. So I'm not looking to, if I go to exercise today, like, oh, can I go as fast as I can, as hard as I can, so that I feel like a endorphin rush after it. I just want to exercise so that I can still exercise tomorrow and the next day and the next day. I just want to do the little bit that just makes you feel that's enough, you know. I'm not looking to do some kind of crazy superfood, green juice, blah blah blah. Like, bananas is good enough. In fact, bananas will probably make me feel better than anything else. So I guess that's my message. Taking care of yourself feels really superbly good. I'll tell you what's my weakness is my sleep. It's the one thing that I'm kind of really trying to get right. Really have had problems with a lot. And I have seen that I've slept a bit better in the tropics when I was there. I don't know if that's right, but maybe that's where I need to be. I don't know. I don't want that to be the case, but if that's the case with my sleep, I want to have a consistent sleep routine. I want to be able to go to bed and fall asleep, not go to bed and sit there and like wait for 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning to finally drop off. I don't like that. So my sleep is something I might try and go to like a hypnotist or something about that and see if they've got any any answers. So we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching the video, for following the channel. If you want to follow, I've got a video about the raw vegan diet. It's called 3 Mistakes That People Make. If you want to watch that video, go down below to the link and you can check that presentation out. If you're interested in coming to the UK Fruit Fest, there's another link below, fruitfest.co.uk/registration. And yeah, thank you for watching the channel. Leave your comments below and we'll see you in the next video.